First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
You kind of got the last word on this one. You had to feel some of that. I'm sticking it right back to you.
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
Bill, let me make it very clear.
Yes.
I have never, ever entered into that arena at all. From the point when I got walked out of City Hall to the point when I came in when the city was on bankruptcy,
yes.
I never said it was somebody else's responsibility. I took ownership of it, and at this point, it's moving the needle down the road. That's what this administration has done for 10 years. This is what we'll do until I leave this capacity.
All right. Man, I got to say, just listening to you now versus when you came on the air in your first administration, in your first time in office, you're much more fiery than you ever were then. So
you know what?
I got to tell you.
We have a great city, and, my mantra is Utica starts with you. We will be the best little city in America. I don't say these things if I don't believe in them. If you don't believe in a product, you can't sell the product. The proof is in the pudding. The city is in the best position it's been for decades. So at the end of the day, I have a great staff. I have great residents, and great things are happening in our city.
All right. I'm going to ask you.
Can I just ask one thing on the MOU? I know you said some MOA. I know you said some things have changed.
Equivalent, right?
When you signed the agreement, did you plan to commit the money for it, or was it just to get the certificate of need?
Listen, the initial MOA, there is no way in the world the city of Utica could have ever afforded close to $700,000 per year. Absolutely, but if it was not done, so we fully understand, if it was not done, we would be having a totally different conversation. You wouldn't have seen the footprint of the hospital being built. The funding would have been taken out, and we would have said, here was another opportunity for the region, and it was blown by the politicians. We all understood that it was a moving document, and it would change as it was going.
And you watched the news last night, and you heard Mr. Pacini. Do you want to respond to what he said last night?
So, truth be told, I was at a swimming meet and I didn't hear.
Okay, all right. So now you don't listen. Now you don't listen to my show. You don't watch KTV. I mean, what is going on here? So
I have to work for a living, Bill. I'm like you. This is your craft.
You're right.
It's my city.
All right. Anybody else here? Clearly, the county executive was upset over this, and part of his argument was that. Instead of, all this money being invested downtown, instead of working in conjunction with the county and MVHS, it seems like you're off on your own, doing your own thing. And I think that was part of the criticism. How would you respond to that?
I would respond is, look at the tangible product that we just presented. Tell me that the county executive, first and foremost, wants to take in another debt service for purchasing Washington when it needs, Kennedy when it needs 13. It's going to be sales tax, property tax, bed tax, improvements to the renovating of the Kennedy. Other than maybe his ego being a little bit tattered, it's a positive all the way around for the county residents, city residents, and the Wynn Hospital. It is an opportunity to sit down with these developers and actually find out what else could be done to move this forward. If it's additional parking, they're able and willing to sit down with MVHS whenever they would like.
I feel one thing that a takeaway from the interview with you here this morning, at least for some people, is going to be your comments about county executive's ego. There is no doubt that one's going to. Well, let me ask you. Lodge in. He's going to remember that on Monday morning.
I didn't hear Tony's comments, but is his objection just that he wasn't consulted or in the loop? Because again, I agree with the mayor. I think this is a complete win-win. I don't know
win-win for the win. Maybe
it's a win-win for the win.
It may be, but I think the argument is that this was that. And Mayor, you correct me if I'm wrong. This is what their argument is that.
So again, there was a confidentiality disclosure agreed to. So
okay.
Like so many other ones, this could not be discussed.
So you couldn't discuss it with the county or MVHS because of a confidentiality agreement. Okay. Did you know that this was going to happen when you convinced the Common Council to reject the MOA?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. You have
to understand, in sales, it takes years at times.
Okay.
You don't know until you know.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that are in the fire as we speak. If I talked about them at this point and they don't happen, and then it looks like, well, here we go again. He's talking all these great things. Nothing's happening. Until I have that application in front of me, signed, sealed, and delivered. And again, the process right now, Bill, this is not a done deal until it goes through the process.
Right. The Common Council has to approve this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's nothing carved in stone that this is going to happen.
And do you have any concern that the power grid is able to handle this, handle a hotel in addition to what's going down there at the hospital?
So again, you're dealing with a company that is an $800 to a $1 billion corporation. They have gone through the facility. They have looked at it. And there's certainly going to be much more to look into, but they wouldn't have made the application to not have some of the answers to the questions that are out there.
All right. Anything further? Anything else you want to add, Mayor, on this whole
No, not at all. Again, let me just say this. Receiving $1.5 million, putting it back on the tax rolls, being it done quicker than the city or anyone else could do, receiving property tax, county tax, sales tax, and bed tax, and getting additional 200 parking spaces. It's absolutely a great day for the city of Utica, and it is a great day for MVHS and Wynn Hospital. It's going to be them sitting at the table with these people to facilitate what their needs may be.
Just real quick, what's the thought on when that parking garage would be refurbished or rehabbed and be able to open?
Well, they're looking at it in concert to the hospital.
Okay.
So I guess that's kind of a very speedy remedy.
So you believe their intent is to work with the hospital for those additional parking spaces that are needed?
100%.
Okay. And Mayor, do you think that we need another large hotel right downtown? And will that hurt Delta and hurt Hotel Utica?
And again, I think the analysis of that is based on what the hospital and the medical office buildings will bring.
And the
again,
Nexus
any
Center.
type of a hotel or
And the
anything that will
Nexus,
be
yeah.
a structure up at this point
Right.
will be a feasibility, and they have done some of their homework. So I'm not a wizard on the hotels.
Okay.
All I know is that, and I do believe it has been very successful in other regions where the hospital is adjacent to a hotel.
And Mayor, I do want to say that I think that we've tried to ask you as much as we know about this, some tough questions on the issue. Tried to present the side that may be a little frustrated with this decision. You handled it incredibly well. We're still talking. You haven't hung up. I haven't hung up on you. I'm just hoping that this shows that we can do this sort of thing much more often going forward.
So we'll see when you hang up how bad you bash me.
Well, we're out of time there, unfortunately.
Are you kidding me? All right. Well, listen, as Andrew said, we're out of time. I'm going home. It's the weekend now for me. So
You have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
You do the same. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Mayor Rob Palmieri. Interesting, right?
It
WIBX
is.
Utica-Rome. We went over. I had a chance to get him. I'm sorry. We wanted to.
You never know when we get this opportunity, so I completely understand why you'd run along with this.
Jeff, don't be bashing the mayor after
I'm
the phone.
And I would like to see. I would like to see it happen more often. It's been very tough to get the mayor, and my observation is in the very beginning. I think the mayor was very early on in his term. I think he was very nervous doing interviews like these. There was no nerves in this one. It didn't seem. He handled it quite well and is taking no crap from anybody. It's kind of how my takeaway from this. So hopefully we'll do this more often.